welcome back to the foundry. Now, since I fixed up my old Foreman, I have found that I need a way to transport this thing that's just a little bit more convenient than a bed of a pickup truck. Now, my 16-foot trailer is a little bit overkill, so I suppose I could go buy a new ATV trailer. But I was just looking around the yard here and I remembered I had this old motorcycle hauler. I wonder if I can make this work. All right, I got it up in the shop here. Let's give it a once over and see what we're going to be up against. This trailer, I believe, is from like the late 60s, early 70s. I've owned it for about 23 years. I horse traded a front end off a motorcycle for this trailer and that old Westinghouse welder. So right off the bat, the tires are shot. That's really a shame because there's pretty much no miles on those tires. Lights are broken. Looks like wiring, yeah, the same. Paint, it's shot. Who knows when the last time the wheel bearings have been packed. And the wiring for the lights it's all shot. This is from a Labrador when he was a puppy. What's also from a Labrador is all this rust on these wheels. That's just in absence of a proper fire hydrant on the yard. So, but the good news is it's got a good hitch on it, and I don't see anything bent, broken, cracked, rusted out. I think the bones of the trailer are still in really good condition. The way I like to approach projects is to start on the mechanical, and then when all that's squared away, shift over to the cosmetics. So let's get started. The wheel bearings actually feel really good. Lug studs instead of lug nuts. So the bearings were in good shape, as was the seal. So I just went ahead and repacked them, and I'm just going to go back on with the hub. And of course, a new cotter pin. And reinstall the dust cap. Easy enough. So next I'll go ahead and knock out this other side. It'll be hopefully the same way. I think the bearings feel pretty good on this side as well. So shouldn't be a big deal. And that'll pretty much, I mean, honestly wrap up the mechanical portion of this deal. Oh yeah, I got new tires. Just went down a few minutes ago and grabbed these. They were exactly twice as expensive as they were 23 years ago. No, but it still really wasn't bad. So they quoted me for 8-ply. Now these are a little bit bigger, a little bit taller anyway. These are 175s. I think I had 155s on there. But it's all they had. But these are 8-ply, or they sold me 8-ply apparently. But when they threw them in the back of the truck, I was looking on them. They're actually 10-ply load range E. Well, this side went together good. And I caught this just in time. Those bearings on this side, they were getting dry, but the bearings themselves were still in good shape. So took a good repack and got it back together. Right now I'm removing the tail lights, having some trouble out of them. The nuts are actually, the studs here are just spinning inside the housing. So took the lens off, got a pair of vice grips in there, and they're coming along now. So I'm gonna remove both the tail lights and the side markers, which are also broken. I really like having side markers on my trailers. It does two things. One, when I look in my rear view mirror when it's dark, lets me know my trailer lights are still working, because these are easily visible when you look in the mirror. The second thing it does, it lets me know my trailer is still back there. And there's actually a third thing, and that is it's really handy to have those when you're trying to reverse into tight quarters at night. So all my trailers, I put side markers on them. So these are going to get new ones installed, but as soon as we get the lights off, the next thing I'm going to do is start stripping this thing down. The paint turned out pretty good. So yesterday when I painted it, it was a balmy 80 degrees. I was sweating profusely, but that helped the paint cure actually pretty quick. Now, when I got up this morning, it was 32 degrees. That's just how fast the weather changes here. It's like right at Christmas, we got a couple of days of summer, and now we're back to wintertime. But I actually prefer winter in December. Maybe I'm crazy. But anyway, let's talk paint for a second before we move on to installing the new lights. You'll notice I did not sandblast it down to bare metal. I didn't use base coat, clear coat, or pinstriping, or any of that nonsense, because this trailer is actually going to get used. It's going to have muddy bikes rolling on and off of it routinely. It's going to get scratched up. I'm going to be dragging it around off-road. However, I didn't totally cheap out either, because I want a paint that's going to be durable and last. So pretty much what I do, if you've seen this channel, you know I've painted several things, and how I usually approach it is on equipment like this, I just like to wire wheel all the rough stuff off of it, hit the rusty spots, loose paint, things like this. And then, you know, if there's a lot of exposed metal at that point, I'll go ahead and prime it. In this case, we didn't have that, so I didn't worry with priming. So the paint I use is an industrial enamel with the appropriate reducer and a catalyst hardener. And that is the ticket, the catalyst hardener. And what that does is it provides a candy shell. Now this is it's not flat, it's low gloss, which I think I went with like a satin finish, just some paint I happen to have laying around left over from another project. But that candy coat that it gives it is our candy shell. It gives it maybe a little bit more gloss, but it's still matte. So it's a really good, really nice finish for something like this. But also what that hardener does is it gives it some degree of chemical resistance and UV resistance. And that is why this paint lasts so long as compared to, let's say, like a rattle can. I never want to rattle can something like this, even though it's not a very big trailer. For a couple of reasons. One, if this is out in the weather routinely, you're only going to get about a year out of a rattle can job. So that's an awful lot of work to go through just for a year. Also, it's more expensive. Those cans are like, you know, $8, $9 a can, maybe more than that. And it would take so many cans to do this versus, you know, basically I think I used a pint of industrial enamel. It's like 15 bucks. So now we can move on to installing the lights. For the markers, I'm going with these high quality Signal Stat commercial truck and trailer lights that'll work very well right there. And for the tail lights, I'm going with, I just happen to have these left over from a project. They are new, I haven't used them, but they're not super high quality. Let's see, Optronics. I think they probably came from Harbor Freight. I think they'll work fine. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about is it's really small gauge wire. And I ran into that problems with this when I was putting in that lead for the light plug. Initially, I used a piece that I had that was like this. What would happen is every time I'd put a butt connector on that, it would just pinch straight through the wire because it's so small. So I threw that crap away and I went digging through my supplies and I found I had a better quality lead. Now with the lights, I don't know, probably 15 years ago, I bought a big box of new old stock truck lights. I'm talking tail and brake lights, signal lights, marker lights, cab lights. It had all kinds of stuff in it. I was restoring my old 1966 International dump truck at the time. So it was a really good bargain, and I've been using, that's where those marker lights came from. I've been using those for years. But in this case, I didn't have a particularly high quality set of taillights, unfortunately, like these Petersons that came on this thing. Pretty good quality light, Peterson, or at least it used to be. But I'm gonna use what I got and we'll see how it turns out. Check it out. We got lights and all flashers, signals, brakes, it all works. I had to, over here on this left side, apparently, so I had two right-hand side lights. So I had to flip this one over to get it to mount, have your reflector out there and whatnot. And I had to drill a drain hole in the bottom because the factory, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a little slot right there for it to drain. So I had to drill a hole in the bottom, but it was either that or go buy another light. It's the middle of the night. I don't think anything's open, so use what I got. That's my motto. And up here on the lead that goes to the truck, the plug that was on this thing was one of those that apparently doesn't fit anything. So I had to take another one that I had in there, and it had this shroud over it that was impossible to get in there. So I took a utility knife and carefully carved that off of there, and now it plugs in good. So our lights are all fixed up. Now we get to the core of the reason for using the trailer, and that's to load an ATV on here. As you can see, that's not feasible in its current configuration. So I found something that used to be on this trailer. I'm gonna grab those and see how it works. So unbelievably, I found the planks that I once had on this trailer. I took them off a while back for an unknown reason. I'm guessing I had some kind of project or something I thought I was gonna use them for and never did, because they still have the carriage bolts. And they didn't have the nuts on the other side, so I'm gonna have to round up some nuts, but I think this worked out pretty good the last time I used it, and I'll show you how I get the machine up on there after I get the wheels on. All right, I got the pressure treated 2x10s bolted down, and to treat them later, because they're getting a little bit weathered, I'm gonna wait till summer, get a good sunny day when it's 100+ degrees outside, park it out there, and all these little cracks will open up out there as it expands. Then I'll paint some used motor oil on these boards and it will treat them for another go around. I've done that with trailers for years. It lasts forever. Got the wheels bolted on, and for safety chains, I just run a chain through this piece of angle right here. Pretty light trailer, so this is plenty good for that. Now for the finishing touch that I've been waiting on to be delivered, it came in today. I have got something I think will really set this little trailer off. I found a set of period correct new old stock Baby Moon center caps. These are for 1960 through 1969, I think Ford automobiles with 13-inch wheels, which is what my trailer is, and I had measured them based on what the guy had on the listing. They should fit. Just wipe these fingerprints off. Oh yeah. Let's see if I can put it on with one hand and a knee here. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to put the camera down. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Good looking tire wheel combo here. Still need to let a little air out of these tires. They're 10 ply. If I don't, you know, the trailer's so light, it's just gonna bounce into orbit. But I think that was the last thing. I think we are all ready to go. So let me hook up to it, take it around to the yard, and I'll show you how it works. All right. Yeah, so the thing about these little trailers, they are very difficult to back up. I backed it up in here off of that street. So it's not impossible, but you really got to be on your toes. So if I were to, let's say I'm loading my KLX 650R, CR250, whatever, you just take and remove this ramp right here. That tongue goes in that groove, and there you are. So the way I do it is I go ahead and start the bike and then stand beside it, feather the clutch, and just drive it up on there. Then of course you tie it down to these, one on each side if you're in the middle, or if you're using one of these side ones, let's say I'm hauling them both at the same time. You can haul one full-size motorcycle or two full-size motorcycles, but you can't haul three. There's just not enough room between them once you get them loaded. You can haul three small bikes. And now we're about to haul a ATV. And there we have it, gentlemen. So you do have to have your own ramps to use it, but I stow them in the back of the truck and just bind it down accordingly. And I like to run at least one of the tires up behind one of these runners here. That way, if it shifts forward, if you're on the brake real hard or what have you, it just catches right there. And bind it down my D-ring up here, and we're good to go. And it pulls pretty good on the highway too. It will do highway speeds. It doesn't fishtail. The axle's set far enough back. It sits pretty level to the truck bumper, so it's always been a pretty good little trailer. So now I can haul three-wheelers, four-wheelers, motorcycles, and dirt bikes. So it'll handle anything I want to throw at it. Just a practical, relatable weekend project that anybody can do at home. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll wrap this one up right here. See you in the next one.